To call the meeting to order. Okay. Um, I'm going to ask you to start by reading the executive order under which we are carrying on the meeting. Cindy, for us, please.
Yes, so this is the meeting will be held via teleconference, and the Planning Commission members will participate via teleconference. Those locations are not listed on the agenda and are not accessible to the public. The public is encouraged to listen to the Planning Commission meeting live on Woodland TV channel 20, and also by going to the City Woodland website at www.cityofwoodland.org/meetings. If you wish to make a comment during general public comment or on a specific agenda item, there are 3 ways to do that. First, members of the public are invited to leave a voicemail message at 530-661-5900. All voicemail messages received by 6:30 today will be played during the Planning Commission meeting as part of the report, as part of the record at the appropriate time. And again, that number was 530-661-5900. Second, any member of the public watching the live stream who wishes to make a comment on an item that is being heard may submit an email to the following email address prior to the public comment on an item. And that email address is planningcommissionmeetings@cityofwoodland.org. If you email, please include the agenda item in the subject line. Third, participate via Zoom. You will find a link to the Zoom webinar meeting in the Planning Commission agenda that's posted online. Click on the link to join the webinar, and the webinar ID is listed on the webpage as well. The webinar ID is 921-7009-5836. Or you may access Zoom via phone by dialing 669-900-6833 and then putting in the web ID 921-7009-5836. Just a note, all comments are limited to no more than 3 minutes. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much, Cindy. Let's go on to a roll call now.
I would be happy to take that. And so each member must identify themselves by saying aye when I call your name. Commissioner Holt.
Aye.
Commissioner Hurst.
Aye.
Commissioner Lopez.
Aye.
Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Commissioner Lizarraga.
Aye.
And I'd like to note we have 5 members present. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Commissioner Secretary Cindy. Now I would like to request that each member of the commission respond to these questions. Commissioner Holt, can you hear me well?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Hurst, can you hear me well?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez, can you hear me well?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith, can you hear me well?
I can.
I can hear myself very well. So each member of the commission have an agenda. Commissioner Holt.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Hurst.
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
And I do have an agenda. Okay, Commissioner Secretary, have you posted the agenda at a location reasonably accessible to the public?
Yes, we have.
Okay, the record should reflect that 5 commission members are present for this teleconference and have indicated that they were able to hear the proceedings. Okay, this time I'm going to ask the city officials to introduce themselves and their positions.
Cindy Norris, Principal Planner. We have Megan Meyer, Associate Planner, and Jay Kimura also behind the scenes assisting us.
Thank you very much. One of the things that we go through as we go through the agenda, I would request that you please speak clearly and identify yourself and ask for the floor before speaking. And also let individuals speak and please do not interrupt. I would also ask that to the greatest extent possible, everyone mute his or her phone or devices when not actively speaking so that we do not get unnecessary background noise. I would now like to advise the commission members and the commission secretary that any votes taken during this teleconference portion of this meeting must be taken by roll call. So I'm going to start with the agenda with item C, and that's the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'm going to ask Commissioner Holt, you can lead us with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes, sir. Please place your hand over your chest and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
United States
and to the nation for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
Visible.
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Holt. And now let's go to staff comments. Do we have any staff comments?
Yeah, I just have a couple of things I'd like to let the commissioners know about. First, there are no agenda items right now for the January 6th, so that meeting is slated to be canceled at this point in time. I'd also just kind of reporting on items that have come before the commission and kind of where they are in the process. If you remember, gosh, it's almost been 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, there was the cell tower on Main Street. That is actually moving forward, and staff is actually, the applicant's engaging staff in terms of working on the public art requirement component for that. So very exciting. We just, right before this meeting started, received the Sprout application for the Sprouts, which is located on Main Street. It also actually appears to include maybe a couple of other tenants. So we're excited to open that up and actually really look at the plans and see what they've turned in. And then in terms of the Woodland Depot, which was on East Main, that project is in plan check. It's nearing completion in plan check, and it looks like they may actually move forward possibly in the spring. And you already know we have a new planning commissioner appointed, and we will be meeting with him and, discussing process and, planning commission meetings. He has apparently, I think, an extensive planning background. And so we're excited to have another member, have the full boat. So to speak. So anyway, that's it for my comments.
Thank you, Cindy. Now, let me go to Commissioner Holt. Do you have any comments or requests?
Yeah, just one question. I'm sorry, Cindy, I missed our last meeting. Actually, two questions. The Sprouts on Main Street, where is that located again?
It is just east of the, I think it's the 113. It's where the Woodland Storage project was approved, and it's up front along along Main Street.
Oh, great, wonderful.
Yeah.
That's a
commercial
really
section.
good, yeah, really good spot to get that type of retail. And then the new commissioner, have we released his name, or
Michael McLaughlin.
Michael McLaughlin. Okay, great. Thank you very much.
The city council agenda at the last approval.
Please ask for the floor before you speak. Okay. Commissioner Hurst, do you have any comments?
I do not.
Okay, Commissioner Lopez.
No comments.
Okay, now Commissioner Smith.
My sincerest apologies on it last. I'm still trying to work out mute and unmute. In any respect, the last council agenda packet had an extensive biography on him. I did have a question, Cindy, the Woodland Depot project. What is that, please? I've just forgotten.
Yes, I know that name. It's the project that was just to the east of the I-5. It's the one, it was a little bit controversial because it had a 7-Eleven and a hotel and a gas station. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I remember now. No further comments, Chairman.
Thank you very much, fellow commissioners. Let's go now to subcommittee reports. Do we have any subcommittee reports? Commissioner Holt,
None for me, sir. Thank you.
Commissioner Hurst.
Nope.
Okay. Commissioner Lopez.
Nope.
Okay, fine. I think that's about it. Though I don't think we have Commissioner Smith on any of the subcommittees yet. Okay. So at any rate, let's proceed. At this point, this is the opportunity for any member of the public who wishes to speak on an item or concern that is not on the regular agenda. You may have 3 minutes to provide comments. Staff, now, is there any member of the public who has submitted an email or left a voicemail for the general public comment portion of this meeting?
We understand that we have received an email, which is the same email that we've received in front of this commission numerous occasions, that has been read into the record. And therefore, staff recommends that we note that we've received the email regarding speed limits and the recommendation to remove speed limits, and note it in the record.
Duly noted. Okay. Is that the only email or voicemail?
That is the only item.
Okay, let's proceed now then to the next item, which is the minutes. The Planning Commission meetings minutes for July 1st, August 5th, and October 7th. Do we have any of our members that might have discussions or comments on those minutes? Commissioner Holt.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I wouldn't mind. I'm going to abstain from the meeting that I was not there, which was August 5th. Can we take those? Can we take them separately, or can I just state that I am abstaining from that now, and we can take them all together?
We can just proceed by going through each one of them. I think that'd be the cleanest way of doing it for record purposes.
That's good.
Commissioner Hurst.
I do not.
Okay, what about Commissioner Lopez?
No comments.
Okay, Commissioner Smith?
No comment.
Okay, then what I'm going to do is the chair at this point will entertain a motion for the approval of the meeting minutes of July 1st.
I'll second the motion.
Who made the motion? Oh, okay. Yeah, please identify yourself, okay?
Commissioner Lopez seconds the motion.
Wait a minute.
No
Somebody
one made
has
the
to make the motion.
I thought you made the motion.
No, I
I
didn't.
make a motion.
Okay. Commissioner Valerie makes the motion to accept the minutes of July 1st.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Lopez seconds the motion. Do we have any discussions? If we don't have any discussions, let's proceed to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? With no opposed, the motion passes or is carried. Let's go now to the August 5th commission meeting minutes. The chair will now entertain a motion for
I
acceptance.
will motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
Second.
Commissioner Smith makes the motion. Commissioner Hurst seconds the motion. Any discussions? Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, I really should probably do it by roll call. Okay, so let's, sorry about that. Okay, so Commissioner Holt.
Abstain, sir.
Okay, good. Commissioner Hurst.
Aye.
Commissioner Lopez.
Aye.
Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Okay, I'm an aye. Okay, so the motion passes. And let the record show that the motion was passed. Now let's go to the minutes of October the 7th. Do we have any discussions on it? Do we have a motion for approval?
I will make that motion.
Okay,
I will
Commissioner,
second.
Yeah.
Commissioner Holt makes the motion, seconded by Commissioner Fred Lopez. Okay, so all those in, no. Okay, Commissioner Holt.
Aye.
Okay. Commissioner Hurst,
Aye.
Commissioner Lopez,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Right, I think we have a majority of the votes, so the motion passes. Thank you very much, Commissioners. Let's go on to the next item. This is where we're going to have a public hearing, but we're going to start first by asking staff to initiate the presentation for the public hearing.
Good evening, Chair and members of the Planning Commission. Megan Meyer, Associate Planner. Tonight, the Planning Commission is being asked to consider the following request for conditional use permit to develop a new 7,200 square foot office and distribution building and storage yard at 1244 Wilson Way. The Utah-based company DL Supply is looking to relocate their Northern California office and distribution facility to Woodland from the Napa area to take advantage of the proximity to Central Valley markets and major freeway routes. Here you can see the proposed project in relation to the surrounding area. The DL Supply Company project area on Wilson Way consists of 2 parcels at approximately 3.52 acres in size. The development site is zoned industrial with light industrial flex overlay area. The project site is bounded to the north by Wilson Way and industrial uses all around it except for multifamily to the south. The main access to the site is from Beamer Street to BJ Way and onto Wilson Way that will end in a dead end terminus. Here you can see the existing site conditions, and the site has been vacant for some time, but does have an existing warehouse that is approximately 6,500 square feet in size, with a loading dock and smaller outbuildings along the west property line. As you can see, there has been very little new development in this area and has served mostly smaller industrial uses. So turning now to the site plan for the infill project, the proposed 7,200 square foot building will consist roughly of 2,000 square feet of office space, designed to support about 4 to 8 office staff and 5,000 square feet of warehouse distribution space, along with existing smaller warehouses that I mentioned previously. The normal daily operation of the business will be 7 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday and comprise of normal office work with staff of 7 and daily yard activities, with an average of about 3 truck trips per day. The adjacent outside storage yard will support the main distribution operation and will house products such as manholes, frames and covers, and steel frames and grates, with stacking height approximately the height of the outside fencing. New lighting will be added to the outside yard and will throughout the site and will be shielded from the southern portion of the site towards the residential property. The design has accounted for existing residential to the south with a 6 to 8 foot masonry wall to be added, and will be constructed in conjunction with the existing tall or oleander bushes already along the property line. Additional trees will be added to screen and buffer, And the adjacent multifamily residential site has the parking area abutting this site, adding to the distance between this site and the residential homes. Here you can see the red area will show where the masonry wall will be constructed, and the blue arrows indicate the circulation route on site. Turning now to the proposed structure on site, the new building will have office at the front third of the building and warehouse distribution space at the back of the building. The proposed project parking lot circulation, pedestrian access, and landscaping are required to adhere to the city's design standards. The in-site improvements include landscape along the frontage adjacent to Wilson Way, on-site improvements with black tubular steel fencing, lighting, and paved aprons into the site to reduce the tracking of gravel onto the roadway. And then also parking lot shading to combat heat island effect. Although this building is a relatively standard industrial structure, it will be an investment in our industrial area, which actually is lacking overall square footage for our industrial buildings. And with a dedicated office at the front that adds to the structure's value. So looking at how it complies to our general plan and zoning, the 2035 general plan land use map designation of industrial, light industrial flex was selected for key areas of the city that are a transition between the commercial center and heavier industrial uses. The project furthers the goals and policies of the general plan by being an infill development with compact form and sensitive to the existing surrounding properties and designed for site-specific needs. Under the city's zoning, some of the design standards for the industrial, light industrial flex zoning include limited office and outdoor storage use with screening and buffering from roadways and adjacent sensitive uses, such as residential. The project meets these requirements by providing only limited office space at about 17% of the overall building on site. And the proposed streetscape design is an uncluttered street appearance with appropriate fencing, landscaping, and screening. And the site is also located at the end of a roadway with no outlet and is not visible from any other adjacent roadways. And additionally, a type 2 buffer with masonry wall and landscaping is required when the industrial use is located adjacent to residential. And staff finds that the project as designed will meet the buffer requirements. Outdoor storage is only allowed in support of the primary business and shall be subordinate to the main use. As designed, the storage yard area is approximately 1/3 of the overall project area, encompassing approximately 1.28 acres that will be screened and landscaped. Looking now at the environmental clearance that was done for the project, it meets the CEQA under categorical exemption for a small infill site being of 5 acres or less. Additionally, the project has been conditioned to comply with the HCP and CCP habitat conservation plan for avoidance and minimization measures. And thirdly, it meets the CAP criteria, which is the climate action plan for the city in a number of different ways. One being Title 24 efficiencies. 2, also it will be EV charger ready. And then also have a water-wise landscaping and the inclusion of skylights to minimize electric use during the day and have natural daylighting within the building. Staff finds that the project as conditioned has met all development standards set forth in the city's zoning code and the environmental requirements under CEQA and other policy documents. As conditioned, the project does not cause directly or indirectly potential adverse impacts on adjacent properties and will set a standard for the existing and future development in this area. With that, staff recommends that Planning Commission approve the proposed DL Supply Company project for a new office and warehouse distribution with associated outside storage yard as conditioned. And this concludes staff presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. We also have the applicant here this evening that can speak on behalf of the project.
Thank you very much, Megan. So let's go to our fellow commissioners. Commissioner Holt, do you have any comments or questions?
No, sir, no questions at this point.
Okay. Commissioner Hurst, any comments or questions at this
I
point?
do not have any.
Okay, Commissioner Lopez.
Yeah, I have a few little questions.
Okay, please go ahead.
Being where that location at, I'm kind of familiar with that area there a little bit. There is some additional housing on the entry street, isn't there, off of Beamer?
There is kind of not right at the entryway of BJ Way, but kind of one over on Beamer. There's actually several different, probably 2 or 3 residential homes on Beamer itself. So a couple of streets away.
And with the deliveries that normally take place within the businesses that are there, is that going to create any kind of problem for there if they're going to have 3 deliveries a day? It sounds like most of the stuff they have is probably pretty heavy. So are those streets adequately set to take that type of weight from those types of transportation units that are going to come in there to drop their loads off?
It is actually a truck route through Beamer currently. We actually are dealing with a number of illegal trucking companies off of this roadway that code enforcement is working with planning on. So we're seeing very high traffic volumes with illegal trucks, truck storage sites, and going through this area, and hopefully we can minimize that. Actually, in terms of industrial uses, the 3 trucks or less a day is on the lighter side of industrial uses.
My question was because there's other industrial businesses there, and did you get like a feel for how many deliveries they have a day as well?
Well, as I mentioned, we're seeing a lot of truck traffic going through this roadway that's illegally there, and we're hoping to minimize that through code enforcement. But currently they're kind of in compliance with they're in line with the other industrial uses that are out there currently that are legal. So we have some HVAC companies adjacent actually to this site, and they have similar truck traffic. And we also have a little higher industrial uses that are have been there for some time that are legally there, and they have about similar truck traffic or less, and this will have the same. Like I said, at the end of the roadway, we have some illegal trucking happening, and that's taking a lot of truck trips on that roadway currently.
So taking into consideration the amount of traffic that there is now, and with the new added traffic, without the illegal traffic, that still met the CEQA requirements like that for it to get a negative or a no
It
traffic.
did not require a traffic study, no.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lopez. Let's go to Commissioner Smith. Do you have any comments or questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have roughly 3, dovetailing on what Commissioner Lopez said. On condition number 31 specifically, it's referencing no overnight truck parking shall be allowed on or off the site. But with 3 trucks a day, and considering they're probably going to be shipping things in and out, wouldn't that necessitate having trucks parked on site overnight?
Well, it's intended to have the limit the situation that we're finding that illegal trucking is happening out there, and they're parking on the roadway, and the whole sites are getting parked up with trucks for overnight. So it's not including the standard, operation vehicles that they have on site.
Well, that really doesn't answer my question. Standard operating vehicles they have on site, I understand that, but if they're shipping material product in or out, are they going to be taking a shipment in that day and then moving it out that night or that day again, so they have no transportation trucks overnight parked on the site?
I'll let the applicant answer that. My understanding is that during their normal business operation is when they load and unload trucks. And in terms of, any overnight shipping that they do, I'll let the applicant answer that.
Thank you. The other question I had is in referencing the energy efficiency as well as the environmental consequences. The 3 truck trips a day, that's basically almost 1,100 truck trips a year. What are the carbon offsets that we're doing to help mitigate some of that? Not that maybe the city can do anything, but how can we calculate that into the factor in terms of making sure that it's as pollution-free as possible?
Sure. So with the general plan designation and zoning of industrial, the EIR that was done with the general plan does take into some consideration of, the normal standard operating of industrial uses. When you go much beyond the normal standard operating of industrial uses, that's when planning usually triggers some type of traffic study or further analysis. But in terms of the carbon offset, we do address that, or the city is kind of looking at the overall carbon footprint for the city under our CAP, which is the climate action plan. It's difficult in the CAP to have direct correlation between carbon offsets, but overall, the aim of the CAP is to have a net decrease throughout the city.
Thank you. My final question was regarding the Masonry Wall that is planned for Donnelly Circle, the Lemon Lane Avenue portion. Is that Masonry Wall, would that be located at the current site of the fencing and inside or immediately to the north of the current oleander trees, or those oleander bushes be removed and new bushes put in?
We've talked to the applicant and asked them to have the masonry wall completely on their site so that all the footings and maintenance is their requirement, and that the oleander stay in on site, because actually part of the type 2 buffer requires shrubbery, trees, and a masonry wall. So they have no intention of taking those away because it meets their type 2 buffer.
That's excellent. That's what I wanted to hear. I was concerned that if those oleander trees came out and masonry wall went in, there is the potential for graffiti and other vandalism on the wall. Those oleander bushes really prohibit any of that from taking place. Thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Smith. Megan, there was one question. Is the applicant present?
Yes, we do have John with Archer Building here on the call.
Okay, Mr. Archer, could you answer the question by Commissioner Smith regarding the parking of the trucks?
Brian with D&L Supply is the representative from D&L that I was hoping would be here and could answer that. I don't really know the answer whether they park their trucks overnight.
This is Jay. Just a moment. He's actually an attendee. I've been trying to get him into the room with the rest of us. But for right now, I can allow him to talk. Just a moment. Actually, I think it worked this time. There you go.
Here we go. Okay, can everybody see me?
Barely, but we can see you.
Okay. Apologize. I'm piecing this together. In response to the, in response to the parking of the vehicles, currently how we do our shipping and receiving and shipping out of material, we receive trucks in from our foundry in Moses Lake, Washington. The truckers do park overnight in our location in Napa, and we can dictate to them that they will be parking off-site as they come in and at the truck stop, and then coming into our facility at 7 o'clock to unload the truck, and then they leave. We do not deliver at night. We do not have trucks going in and out at night. Our truck that makes our local route comes in at 7 o'clock, 7:30, gets loaded, goes out for the day, and then we receive common carriers that come in prior to 3 o'clock. So anything after, there's no trucks that leave our yard after 4 o'clock unless we have a truck that comes in and delivers, and then they leave immediately. So there will be no overnight parking on our property.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fisher. Okay, so are there any other comments or questions? Mr. Smith? Commissioner Smith?
Not specifically on that. I did have some other comments concerning the general condition and the public art requirements, which we do not have to do at this time if you do not wish to.
Okay, that's fine. One of the things that I do need to do is open the public hearing. And I'm going to ask staff, are there any public comments that have been received by voicemail, email, or a live call-in?
I do not have any emails that have been received.
Nobody on live call-in?
No.
Okay, given that there are no comments from the public, then I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. At this point, I will ask for additional comments or a motion by our fellow commissioners, and I'll start with Commissioner Holt.
Yes, I don't have any substantial comments. I do just note that this area is a light industrial area. It certainly needs investment, and I'm happy to have the project coming to town. I'm relatively comfortable, with kind of the area and the traffic that's been described. I would be willing to make that motion after we get through the remainder of the commissioner's comments.
Thank you, Commissioner Holt. Commissioner Hurst.
I do not have anything to add.
Commissioner Lopez?
I do. I would suggest that the applicant make possibly an amendment on there that, if they do need to keep a truck there, that they be allowed to either keep it inside or have an area specifically designated to a truck that may come in, may need some special, fixtures put inside for a specific delivery type job that is not going to be a standardized thing, that they should be able to, have some stuff on there. I mean, they've got a big, nice area to park in. It's not like going to be like they're parking their stuff out on the street, on the sidewalk. So, believe me, ask for it now, because you're going to be pulling teeth to get it later. And so I would suggest that maybe he consider that as an additional option if they're stored inside their area in a designated area. I think that hindsight is always 20/20, but right now I think that being with the legal stuff that's going on the outside, they should be given a chance to park something, but inside their area, inside where it's behind their fence in their facility. That's just my own personal thought on that, but that's up to the applicant. That's it for me.
Thank you, Commissioner Lopez. That's a very good observation and ask. So let's go to Commissioner Smith. He still has some other comments.
Ed, thank you. And to dovetail again off Commissioner Lopez's comments, that's why I brought it up under item number 31, when it says no overnight truck parking. That was very absolute to me. And I think that the city and the applicant can modify that with just a couple of word changes. So that just allows for, you know, there are emergencies, there are things that happen. The truck comes in late and it might have to be parked overnight. It shouldn't, you know, the company shouldn't be penalized just because of a one-off thing. And it might happen, you know, once a year or something like that, but it's still going to happen. I did walk the area on Monday afternoon, and I understand the references about the illegal trucking operations that are there. That's pretty apparent and obvious. The other two things I had comments on were under the general condition parts of the project that we're looking at. My concern was that I would like the applicant and or the city to install or add an item 12, if you will, that would allow the applicant to coordinate with YOLO Housing and the residents of Lemon Avenue or Donnelly Circle, so that they could basically use in-house posters, flyers, or job announcements, and hopefully allow the residents of that area to be alerted to or have an opportunity to apply for positions that might open up over there at the firm. I thought that that would help cut the carbon footprint as well as provide employment for the residents of the low-income housing that is currently there. The other comment that I had dealt with the public art requirement. My thought was that we normally give the applicant the opportunity to create or contribute to the city for a public arts project. I would like the commission and or the city and planners and the applicant to consider that the public arts project that we work with would be taller, which is only about 500 yards away from the southern portion of that. I would pronounce it wrong, but it's taller Arte del Nuevo Amacer. And they have a facility that's over there right off of Lemon Avenue. And they train a lot of young artists over there, and something that would help that would probably benefit not only the residents of Donnelly and Lemon Avenue, but generate art as well for that. Those would be my recommendations.
Okay, do we have any other comments?
I do.
Okay, Commissioner Lopez.
I'm not sure we can implement all of Mr. Smith's requirements. This gentleman's trying to start a business. He's not. Let's put the yoke and the saddle on the horse. Let's not put a whole train behind it already off the get-go. So that's my comment on that one. Job applications open up, that goes through the EDD and whatever programs they normally run through. So I'm not sure we can lay those burdens on the business owner at this point.
Thank you, Commissioner Lopez. Okay, I think we've had everybody make us all their comments. And what we'll ask for is now the chair will entertain a motion to accept the recommendation. If you want to add something that can be added to the conditions or modify, for instance, the parking condition, you're welcome to do so on the motion. So the chair will now entertain a motion for the approval and the recommendation of staff.
Yes, sir. This is Chris Holt. I will make that motion. I move that the Planning Commission approve PC Resolution 21-08 for DNL Supply Company proposal based on identified facts for findings and subject to the identified conditions of approval, thereby approving a conditional use permit for DNL Supply Company project to include the new 7,200 square foot office warehouse and associated outside storage yard at 1244 Wilson. I would like to, in my motion, pick up the suggestion that the city and the applicant work together to make minor modifications to the condition for overnight truck storage for unforeseen conditions, not regular truck storage on site. That would be the one that I would pick up there. I think the other two are good suggestions by Commissioner Smith, but I do think those are probably better handled outside of this motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Holt. Okay, it's a long motion for me to restate. So the motion has been made for the approval of the recommendation essentially of staff with the modification of modifying the condition that has to do with the parking on the site for trucks. Okay, so do I have a second for the motion?
I'll second it, Commissioner Lopez.
Commissioner Lopez seconds the motion that Commissioner Holt has made. Do we have any more discussions on the motion? There being none, I'm going to go for the question. So all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. So I will start with Commissioner Holt.
Aye.
Okay. Commissioner Hurst.
Aye.
Commissioner Lopez.
Aye.
Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
And I'm an aye too. Okay. So the motion passes and it's approved. Thank you, applicant, and we welcome you to Woodland. And do put out the word for new employment and do try and hire our local people. We need it. And thank you for coming. Okay, so now let's proceed to the next item, and that's business items. Do we have any other business items? I don't think so. Staff?
No, we do not.
Okay, fine. So let's go through any, what do we call them, wrap-up comments? Commissioner Holt, do you have any wrap-up comment?
Just one. I do want to ask, this is our last meeting of the year, so I would like to say happy holidays to everyone and Merry Christmas. I celebrate Christmas, so I'll say Merry Christmas and a Merry New Year. Cindy, could we, not right at this moment, but maybe at our next meeting in January, could we get an update on the status of the comprehensive zoning update? Or have we done a recent update on that effort?
We have not, and I'd be happy to give an update on that. It actually became stalled due to other work products that were going on, and so we're hoping to get it re-energized.
Okay, great. And that's it. I know that the interim zoning ordinances can, it's a delicate dance we have to play sometimes. So hopefully we can get that final one back in place quickly.
Good comment, Commissioner Holt. Okay, Commissioner Hurst.
I have no comments.
Okay, Commissioner Lopez.
Oh, we're good to go.
Great. Commissioner Smith.
I'll echo Chris's comments about wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year and all that. And Cindy, for next year, if time permits, could we get an update on zoning, particularly on the reported sale of the Holy Rosary Church property site at Walnut and Lincoln? That advertisement appeared in the Daily Democrat this past week saying the property had sold.
Yeah.
And I would just like to know what its status would be and what sort of facilities would be permitted there. I'm obviously worried about that church being destroyed. It's historic in its nature and character, and I would like to know what the future holds, perhaps.
Of course, yes.
Great.
That's all my comments. Thank you.
Great comment, Commissioner Smith. I appreciate that. The only comment that I'm going to have is I wish everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad, and Prospero Año Nuevo. Okay? And big hug to all of you. And
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you.
So by consensus, we adjourn the last meeting of 2021. Good night. Thank you.
Night.
Good night.